guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kathleen, and today's video I wanted to share with you guys the books I'm planning on reading during Reading Rush, aka Booktubeathon. It starts tomorrow and it's a week long and I'm so excited. The Reading Rush, aka Booktubeathon, is always one of the readathons that I participate every year. It is an annual readathon and I find it to be so much fun and I really enjoy it, and I really like it that it's such a popular readathon that a lot of people on BookTube participate, so it's like a huge reading party between all of us, and I find it to be so entertaining and so interesting. So I did pick 4 books that I want to read this week, and my goal is to read at least 3 books. So 3 books in 1 week, I think that's a pretty good goal. I'm super excited about it, so let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so the first book that I'm planning on reading during this week for Reading Rush is a book that I've been anticipating to read for such a long time. Ever since it came out, I've been wanting to pick up this book, and one of the challenges really meets this book to a T, so I thought it would be perfect time to read it, and it is Defy the Fates by Claudia Gray, which is the 3rd and final book to the Defy the Stars trilogy, which you guys know I have been talking about it for so long. It is one of my favorite sci-fi books in outer space that I love. It's about this mech, this android named Abel, and he starts to develop a human soul, human feelings, and he falls in love with this female soldier, and they're trying to stop their planets from going to war. It's so good. I really love it. And so this is meeting 2 challenges. This is meeting the challenge of read a book with purple on a book, and I mean, I'm kind of taking liberty because some people might say that this is blue, but to me it's really purple-ish with blue undertones to it, so kind of taking a liberty with that one. And this is also meeting the challenge of read a book with a non-human main character. Abel is a mech, even though he kind of developed a human soul, so he's not human. And I'm really excited about it. This will be the first book that I pick up for Reading Rush. And the next book that I'm planning on reading for Reading Rush is another book that will be meeting 2 challenges, and it is That Summer by Sarah Dessen. This is meeting the challenge of read an author's first novel. This was the very first novel that Sarah Dessen published, at least according to Wikipedia, and this is also a book to movie adaptation. So Sarah Dessen, there was a movie made based on 2 of her books, which is That Summer and Someone Like You. Not entirely sure what the name of the movie is. I actually never watched it, but it stars Mandy Moore. Here's what the cover of the movie looks like. So I will be reading this book and watch the movie since I never actually watched it. And this book is so thin. It's actually her smallest book that she's published. It's less than 200 pages, so I'm hoping to read this in 1 day, probably. I'm hoping. And this is actually one of Sarah Dessen's books that I never read. There's 3 books that she's published that I still haven't read. It's this one, Someone Like You, and Dreamland. Everything else I have read and pretty much loved, so I'm excited to dive into this book, especially because it is her very first book that she's ever published. Alright, and then the next book that I'm planning on reading for this week for Reading Rush is God's Grave by Jay Kristoff. This is the sequel to Nevernight. This is meeting the challenge. I'm kind of taking a liberty with this one too. This is meeting the challenge of read a book that you meant to read last year. And last year I just kind of wanted to start on a series. It's not necessarily that I wanted to read this particular book last year, but I just wanted to start the series as a whole last year, and I never did. It's a series that's very hyped up, and I didn't start it till this year, so I am taking the liberty with this challenge and putting this one on my TBR to meet that challenge, and I'm really excited because I really did like the first book. And the 4th and final book that I want to read this week is Romanov by Nadine Brands. Now this is a book that will be meeting the challenge of read a book at the same place the entire time. Now this is a very short book and it's only 330 pages, so it's pretty short, and normally when I read, I always read at the same place anyway. Sometimes I kind of switch it up, so it won't be hard to meet that challenge, read a book in the same place at the entire time. But I'm really excited about this book. This is an Anastasia retelling, and I've never read an Anastasia retelling before, so I'm excited to dive into this book. Alright, and there you go. There is only one challenge that none of my books meet, which is a challenge of read a book with 5 or more words in the title of the book. I have a lot of books that could potentially meet that challenge, but I didn't want to make my TBR to be too overwhelming. I kind of just want to focus on the 4 books and hopefully finish those 4 books. Anyway, let me know what books you're reading for Reading Rush, because I would really love to know. Anyway guys, thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a like if you did, and subscribe to my channel if you're not already. All of my social medias are linked down below, including Twitter, Instagram, and Goodreads, if you'd like to follow me on those platforms. Hope to see you guys in my next video. Have a good day guys, and keep reading. Bye!